And hello and welcome to another episode of Webinar Wednesday. Today we have with us the lovely Melissa Simonson from Empowery, and we're going to be talking about the Empowery Women's Conference coming up next week and all of the wonderful events that are happening in Las Vegas next week after almost 2 years now.
It's been, oh my gosh, way too long.
Awesome. So, hi, Melissa. Welcome to the show. Margaret, Kevin, how are you guys doing?
Well,
Right.
ready to go again.
Welcome to the show, Melissa. Really
Thank
nice
you.
to have you join us today, and nice to meet you for the first time, also.
Yeah, it's a pleasure to meet you. I'm so excited to be here, and thank you guys so much for inviting me.
Thank you. No worries. Pleasure.
Good morning, Alan. Alan is joining
Alan,
us.
you are
Hi, Alan.
Morning.
not playing golf today, Alan.
It's a Wednesday. I think he plays golf on Saturdays, doesn't he?
Only
right.
Saturday.
Oh, probably not. Yeah. Okay, so Melissa, first of all, tell us about yourself, your own background, your story, and also tell us about Empowery.
Sure. So, actually, one of the fun things for me that I like to tell people about is, one of my first experiences with e-commerce was actually back when I worked for Steve. He had an online flooring store, and when I first was talking about like my origin story, I really started telling people like what was the moment where I decided I could be an entrepreneur, or at least I needed to do something and not wait for other people to be in charge of my life anymore. But what I realized is people actually are much more interested in something that I took for granted as like that was just a snippet of my life that was, in my teenage years, somewhat, irrelevant. But it actually is my first taste of e-commerce. So I used to work for Steve. I would fly up to Seattle in the summers, and so he had an online flooring store where he took carpet tiles and area rugs and stuff like that, and he would sell those. So his first shopping cart sale was in 1998, and
So
this
this
is
is
back
Steve
when,
Simonson, your
Yes.
brother, right?
Right.
Yeah.
For those who don't know, I was just some information is known, but yeah, that's probably the way. So I actually did that, and when I was 15, he was 30-ish. Yeah, he was 30 when I was 15. So I was working for him, and he already at that time had like 35 employees at this building that I used to go into in Seattle and work. And I would go in, and I had to learn HTML so that I could change the listings, because back then it was all programming code. There was no like Shopify store you could whip up within a day and stuff like that. So that's my first experience with e-commerce. We also had a website called cornerhardware.com where it was like sort of like a Home Depot, but for online. And that was a little ahead of its time. People wanted to go to Home Depot and get something right now and not wait to have it shipped at that time. And there was no good solution, right? There was no prime shipping. Amazon was still selling books. So it was a little ahead of its time. But yeah, that was kind of my first experience. And it's so interesting to see now how that little story of what I spent my summers doing translates into sort of my origins in e-commerce and how different it has become now from what it used to be.
Right.
Wow. What did the software look in them days, Melissa? What did it look like? The software, like is it all DOS or sort of, you know what I mean? Like, I can't even think that far back to how would a computer look like that you was using in that particular.
So the one that I was using, it was one of those Macs that had like the colorful back of it. So it was like a purple Mac that had like the big behind.
Yeah.
Right. And so what do you currently do at Empowery? So you're heading Empowery, right? Can you tell us a little bit about Empowery and what exactly you do there?
Absolutely. Yeah. So I'm the general manager. So I manage the day-to-day. I run the team and make sure everyone knows what they're supposed to be doing. And I make sure that, things look good for the members, things look good for the partners, and that we're hosting events and that all of those things look good. So really, most things related to Empowery, I have some hand in. Empowery was actually co-founded by Steve Simonson, and the other co-founder is Evan Hackle. So Steve, obviously, many people know, is an expert in e-commerce. He has had his hand in it since 1998. He's been sourcing in China since, I think, 2002 and hosting trips to China since 2003. So he's got a lot of experience with this kind of stuff. And so it makes sense that he is one of the co-founders. The other co-founder, some people don't know in this space, Evan Hackle is an expert in co-ops. And he was part of, I'm going to get it wrong, I think. I think it's Carpet One. I think that's what it's called. It's a co-op, and it used to be a bunch of very small businesses that are just single guys like, I want to be successful. We're competing against the big guns here. And they all came together to make sure that they didn't get squashed by the larger, more intimidating competition, because they were the Davids and they were competing against Goliath. And because they came together, they had their combined leverage, they are now the big dogs. And the other ones that they were competing against that were so scary, we don't even know what their name used to be because they're not there anymore. And so we realized there is not a thing like that for e-commerce sellers. We're all just individual private label people coming to one big platform and hoping they treat us well. And that is not the way to get VIP treatment or even like fair treatment. So we thought, we need to make sure that sellers have a voice, and they need to have a louder voice than they do now. And the only way that we can do that is if we all come together and our voices unify so that it becomes louder and louder the more of us there are.
So how does the co-op work? I mean, so people have to join in, and then do they get discounts on the services of members of the co-op? Can you explain a little bit about how it works?
Yeah, sure. So anyone who joins the co-op gets upfront discounts on services, and they also get access to perk packs. So with each of our service providers, they have an upfront discount that, you just get automatically. And perk packs are things that, it's like a free consultation, or there's a dedicated contact so that you can reach out to them and ask questions. And they know about Empowery, they know about e-commerce, and you don't have to jump through all the hoops where you sometimes, call somebody and you have to explain your life for the next 30 minutes. So that's what it sort of is like for the perk pack. It's things that make you feel like the velvet rope is being lifted for you guys. And then the final thing that we have from each of our partners is cashback. Now, this is a little different. So there's a lot of people who will give you links like, you should try this graphic designer, you should try this video marketer, you should try this PPC company, right? And the question always is, can I trust that company? And is your word enough to help me trust that company? And can I totally trust your word because probably you're getting like a referral bonus for this purchase? And so what we decided to do is we negotiated the cashback. So the referral bonus comes to Empowery. And then 51% or more of what comes in goes back to the person who spent the money on that vendor. So if you spend $1,000 on a service that you need for your business, which you guys do all the time, let's say you do freight forwarding, right? Easy, $1,000 in a month. And let's say we've negotiated, this would not happen with a freight forwarder, but let's say we've negotiated 10% cashback. Obviously their margins are too slim for that, but let's say it's 10% because I'm not great at math. And so they would send a check for $100 to the co-op, and 51% of that would go back to that person who had that freight with that company.
Yeah, that sounds pretty good. So it's win-win for everyone, right? I mean, the service providers, they're selling their services and people are benefiting. Awesome. Alan says, moving house, nearly got divorced 6 times, golf on Friday and Saturday.
Safer for the family that way.
Yeah, right.
Cool. Okay, so Kevin, do you want to go next?
Yeah, I just sort of, with Empowering now, Melissa, I mean, it's sort of grown a lot of legs and sort of, from initially, and the call was, sort of more, women in e-commerce and, more women speakers, etc. And I mean, today, when you sort of look at any sort of events, there's lots and lots of women, which is good to see. I have no sort of problem with that. But when you started in the beginning, did you ever think that it would sort of get this sort of big, with the Empowery, and how did you actually think of it in the first place to, sort of get that sort of trend going?
Yeah. So just to make sure that everyone who's watching is totally clear, Empowery supports all e-commerce entrepreneurs. But you're right, we did decide at a certain point we need to do more for women in this space.
Yeah.
And so then we decided, okay, instead of just having the Seattle Summit, which is for everybody, and and then having it be like every other event, even our Seattle Summit was, I think we had 2 women speakers over a course, maybe 3 total, but that was over the course of 3 days. And the total speakers was maybe 20-ish speakers. So, I mean, we even with our event, there was some disparity. And certainly that disparity was quite clear among all of the other events too. So we decided, it's important to make it clear to all of the women who are like, should I get into this? Is this a place where I belong? Can I actually make this work? That yes, there's enough women in this space that have made it work that you can do it too. And we're going to show you. We're going to show you that by putting enough women on the stage to show you, yes, you can do this too. And also to have, the women who were attending already have that different tone, just a different take on things, another viewpoint. And that's not to say that every woman has the same tone or the same personality or anything like that. But I do think that generally speaking, there's a different approach when we're having a conversation or doing a presentation than on average a man doing a presentation does. And I think we just were missing that, and it's still great. Again, all the presentations, there's so many speakers who are men that I love. And I just I'm so excited already to see some of them at Prosper. But that doesn't check all the boxes of all the things you look for when you're going to an event, when you're looking to get inspired and motivated. It just felt like there's something missing. Not that there was anything wrong, but that there could be more. And so we decided to do something more.
Excellent. Yeah. It's good to see. Yeah.
Yeah, that's perfect. And I think as a conference organizer, because I used to organize or still do organize a Global Sources Summit in Hong Kong, and it was always difficult to identify women speakers, and sometimes they'd be hesitant to fly all the way down to Hong Kong to be away from their families for a couple of days or maybe a week sometimes. But yeah, you're right. I think what the reason these conferences are also important is because you're highlighting to other conferences that, hey, look, there are so many women speakers, there are so many women experts out there that focus on e-commerce and Amazon, and you've got to get these women at your conferences, as speakers. I think that's really important. So Danny also has Branded by Women. He does that virtually in your conference too. So do you find it hard to fill in all the spots for the women's conference, or?
No, it's way too easy. In fact, okay. I'm usually looking for a way to politely ask people to shorten it up because I've got too many speakers and I don't want to cut anybody. You know what I mean? Because and there were some that I couldn't even include because it was sort of okay, we'll see what the agenda looks like. And then we decided to condense it into one day because so many people had to fly out on Saturday. So that really took away the opportunity to even have people shorten it up so we could stuff more speakers in there. Because there's some just amazing people from the UK and stuff who are traveling in. And it's just such a bummer that we can't include them. But next year, I'm excited about some of the people that are unknowns. This is why I'm kind of digging into this question, because there's a bunch of who we're used to seeing at conferences, and it's a draw, right? We see who's going to be there, and that helps us know we should definitely buy the ticket. But what I really try and do more of for this conference is to choose some unknown speakers to help us increase our network. We're always talking about increasing our network, but then we're hesitant to buy a ticket with some unknown speakers because we just don't know if they're good, if they're as good as we thought. But last year we had Mayan Gordon. She was totally unknown in the e-commerce space. But she is blown up now since that conference because it was such a good fit for her to be helping people in e-commerce get on TikTok and all kinds of stuff, to be successful in social media in ways that they had never anticipated, Yeah,
Melissa, do you want to tell us a little bit more about the content of the conference and why people should buy a ticket from you?
Yeah, so we've organized it now to have day one be presentations. And so we've got 2 keynote speakers. They are both amazing. So originally we were going to have, day one keynote and a day two. So now we've split it to have a morning keynote speaker and an afternoon keynote speaker. We're going to have Lillian Roberts kick off the morning. And she is this amazing, amazing woman who, 30 years in the industry. She is the CEO of Zendu. I don't know if you guys are familiar with that. They're busting into the e-commerce space in a big way. And they're looking to be the go-to for accounting software. She is just a force to be reckoned with. When we went to Miami, she took us all to dinner, all of the ladies who went down to Miami in May, and everyone was just blown away by this woman. She's just incredible. And the other keynote speaker is Marsha Reese. Now, she is another one that many people do not know yet, but so both of these keynote speakers, again, these are unknowns mostly in this space, but it's so important for people to really get how awesome it is to meet people who can help you increase your network. These people know so many people that you should know. And the only way to do that is to go to these conferences. So anyway, Marsha Reese, I got on this Zoom call with Amy Weiss, who was on this call with Marsha Reese, and just blew my mind. Like, I was having one of those days, and Meghla, you know how this is, and I'm sure you guys all do with planning these sourcing trips and stuff. But as you're planning events, it gets a little stressful. And sometimes you want to throw your computer, just saying. So I was having one of those mornings where I was like, man, everything is just going wrong. I don't want humans right now, And I was really having trouble getting back to Zen and just really finding my, get stuff done mode. And so Amy was like, hey, I've got this person on here that you should meet. Jump into the Zoom if you can. And I was like, why not? I'm not focused on anything else right now. I can't get anything done with this mindset. So I jump into the Zoom call, and this woman was so incredible. Absolutely knocked my socks off. I was like, you are definitely speaking. Please be available. And here's what's really cool about this woman. She invented sidewalk chalk. That was not a thing before this woman thought it up. And she had this idea. Now it's like artists do this, and it's like a whole graffiti thing, but in a kind way. But anyway, she invented it, and she has the pictures and the actual samples of the sidewalk chalk in their original form. So you can see how it went from this product that looked pretty terrible. And the packaging was also really not good. But the product idea, this invention she had, that was spectacular. She's making this stuff out of her kitchen. People are like, you're totally nuts. And she did it anyway. And she was just so audacious in so many different ways, coming to, corporate meetings with the Walmart guys. It's all these suits in there, and they're all, intimidating men. And she goes in there and she tells them what she wants. And when they are not giving her what she is looking for as a successful now CEO and inventor of this awesome product, she, for several of these things, she turned it down until she got what she wanted. And that at that time, that is just beyond audacious. Most women at that time, especially, were taught, accept what you're given, be grateful, don't make a fuss. And now it just always reminds me of that saying. What is it? Oh, well-behaved women seldom make history, right? If she had just accepted what they were giving her when she was bringing them an opportunity, can you imagine? So anyway, it's just so many, every time she said another sentence and I was like, and then what happened? I'm just
That's
so
awesome.
excited for people to meet her.
Yeah. I've actually I've read sort of stories on the internet regarding the sidewalk chalk, and it is a great story for sure. But it just shows you that some women have just got it, and they sort of, they're not going to be told by anybody. They'll just,
right.
stand the ground. And I mean, hey, that's great. I mean, I've got no problem with women like that whatsoever. It makes the world, and even in history, certain women have done certain things in different strokes of history.
Right.
Whether it's a guy or a woman, it doesn't really matter. It's a person that's actually done it, So
right.
that's the way it goes, you know.
So, Kevin, do you have sidewalk chalk in Australia? Because I heard
Yeah,
it for the first time
well,
from Jacob Topping, and I was like, what's sidewalk chalk? I hadn't heard about it because
okay.
we don't have it here in Asia. I don't think, not in India, not in Singapore. So
Well, we have a lot of
it's really big.
sidewalk. If you go into, say, Melbourne, the heart of Melbourne, in the summertime especially, or in the spring, you'll see a lot of sidewalk artists.
Okay.
And a lot of the artists come from around the world, but when you see them, they don't just have the normal chalk like you have in a classroom.
Yeah.
It's quite a big sort of round, thing. And I've seen that, so it's obviously been around for a while. But I mean, some of the sidewalk artists, they leave until it gets washed away, I guess, by the rain or the storm. But some of them are fantastic when you walk past and see them. It's just incredible. And of course.
Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, Kevin.
No, it's okay. Go on, listen.
Well, I was just saying, here it's a staple. Like, I mean, all the houses, you'll definitely see like one of those little bucket containers of like, 20 different colors of sidewalk chalk. It's like having a crayon box on your first day of school, except just for summer, right?
That's awesome.
Well, Alan says, empowering women comes naturally to you, Kevin, you sweet talker.
Thank you, Alan. Well, I'm surrounded by 3 women. What else can I say?
And one of the things that you said really, it brought something up for me, Kevin. You were talking about, sort of the way that those kind of women, and this might have been you actually, Meghla, having audacious women and having someone who just like gets things done. One of you said something about that, and it sparked something in me. Kevin, yeah, I thought it was. So, but that's what's really great about these events is that, like, hearing this story, it's fun. It's exciting, and it was like Sidewalk Chalk was just recently inducted into the Hall of Fame for toys or something like that. So it's been kind of in the news and stuff like that. But that's fun to read about. It's fun to do like read an article or to share it on a Facebook post or something like that. But going to the events, meeting the person who was that audacious and had those experiences and invented this thing and just made it really awesome and is now still an Amazon seller, that energy is not something you can get anywhere else. It's not something that you can duplicate. So I'm really encouraging people as much as possible to sign up and make sure that you're there, because we price the tickets incredibly low. I mean, our tickets are below the cost of some of the parties that are being thrown.
So
They're
do you
like,
want to talk a little bit about? Sorry.
Well, yeah, we would love to go, Melissa, but I'm sure the ladies would. But our governments, well, we actually live on a prisoner island right now. We're not allowed to escape. They won't let us out.
We can't come home.
oh no.
Next year,
so
Kevin.
It's a bit difficult. Definitely.
We have to plan for next year.
Yeah. Well, I need to come to India with you guys. That's definitely.
Definitely, Melissa.
We all want to go.
Yeah. Well, hopefully, 2022, the door is going to be open, and hopefully, like India, the US, and like I think Meghla will be flitting around the world again. and I'm sure you will, Melissa.
And I'll be taking you guys with me, Kevin and Mark. Get ready.
I know. Yeah.
We're allowed out.
Yeah.
So you're gonna have to learn to split, Kevin, is what she's saying.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, we're going to need a full-time person to look after Mr. Bryson. This is our black lab retriever.
Yeah.
So, Melissa, tell us about the other events that are happening next week in Vegas. So there's Empowery Women's Conference, and then there's Prosper, and there's so many parties. I think the e-commerce world is going to be out there in Las Vegas next week, and basically coming together after 2 years almost, right?
Yeah.
It's going to be super exciting.
Yeah, so I think the very last event, a few people were at, but not, a ton of people, was White Label Expo. So a few people got together then in Las Vegas. And then we also had the Empowery Women's Conference last February. But then everything else from that point got canceled. So for many people, it's been 2 years, since SellerCon and stuff like that in 2018. So I think it actually officially, the first party is Tuesday. I think that Helium 10's, is it on the record, or I can't remember what it's called. I'm so sorry, everyone at Helium 10. You guys are amazing and awesome, and they're also sponsoring the Empowery Women's Conference. But their party on Tuesday, I think many people are planning on being at, and their target number of people, I think, was 500. And I'm not sure how close they are to that, but I would say, judging by their 2019 party, they'll probably hit their goal. So, and then some people are going from that party. There's a little bit of overlap time to Brandon Young's Topgolf party, and I plan to be there. There's some swimming, there's all kinds of fun things going on, and I also want to just connect with so many people, as many people as possible. So we'll go from one to the other, and then on Wednesday morning, for those who have been to $1 Billion Seller Summit or have tickets for the upcoming $1 Billion Seller Summit with Kevin King, they have access to the Billionaire Breakfast on Wednesday morning, I think at 7 a.m. And then, so that's 7 to 9, and then everyone goes to the conference. And I think Wednesday might be workshop day, if I'm remembering right, for Prosper. And then we've got that night is the Feast by the Fountains, and food is being served there. And then Casino in the Clouds at the Stratosphere. And so again, some people are going to Feast by the Fountains and then the Casino in the Clouds because that one lasts a little longer. And there's some overlap in each of these parties of time. And then the next day, Thursday, there's so many parties. Like then Thursday, Prosper, that's the final day of Prosper. So then, and actually, let me mention this as well. The official Prosper party is at the Westgate in the Expo Hall, I think from 5 to 7 on Wednesday. So it's the Billionaire Breakfast, and then close the day. 5 to 7 is the Prosper party, and then Feast by the Fountains, and then Casino in the Clouds. That's Wednesday.
Wow. Melissa,
Yeah.
what does a billionaire have for breakfast?
I don't know. I'll tell you when I become a billionaire.
Okay. Well, if you can cover that breakfast morning and just sort of show us what a billionaire gets for breakfast, give us something to aim for.
Yeah, I will do that. I will send so many pictures. It's probably mimosas, if I'm guessing. So the next day, on Thursday, that's the final day of Prosper. And so, people will be breaking down their booths and stuff like that. And then I think there is a party, there's a speakeasy party it's like by invite only, very expensive tickets. And then I'm not sure if there's something else, but I know there's that speakeasy one, and that's from 6 to 9. And then there's the after party / welcome party, the Soiree in the Sky, which is our official women's conference welcome party. So all Empowery VIPs, ticket holders, all sponsors, all speakers have free access to this party. And the space is limited, but it's still like 80 to 100 people. And we've got plenty of reservations. So it's going to go in order of people who have a ticket to the Empowery Women's Conference. And then we'll let people in as there's space. So, and there's been quite a few reservations for that one. So that's a Soiree in the Sky, and that is the end of Thursday. Now, I know that there's some after parties and stuff like that. People are just going to use their own discretion, but I'm hoping that you get some sleep before the next day, because that's the Empowery Women's Conference. We have such awesome, power-packed stuff happening that day. So presentations in the morning, a beautiful lunch for everyone with GA tickets, and VIP tickets. And then in that evening, one who has a VIP ticket goes to the VIP dinner. And then that closes the event for the Empowery Women's Conference. And then just for people who happen to still be in Las Vegas, because many people are flying out on Saturday, we're like, let's find out who else is going to be there. And let's all meet at Border Grill at Mandalay Bay for mimosas with mentors. And so we'll meet and have brunch from 10 to 12 on Saturday. And that'll be our nice, relaxing, unhosted, very informal, just really peaceful way to end the entire conference, like the whole week.
Wow.
Awesome.
Wow, that's
speakeasy. That sounds real cool. I
Yeah,
reckon.
I'm excited.
Yeah, that'll be real cool. Yeah.
I really like all the names of Feast by the Fountains and Soiree,
Yeah.
and it's so cool.
Yeah, I know. Here's what's funny is like all of these things were coming out with all these awesome names. And so Rich was like, hey, will you help me, talk about this party? It's going to be your guys' official, welcome party if you guys want to, do that. I said, absolutely. Thank you so much. Because they're basically sponsoring this and allowing our people to come in free, which is amazing. So I said, of course, I will help you do this. What are we calling it? And he's like, I don't know, just, whatever you think. So I was like, well, we can't call it just party. And then you have to think of like, what's another word for party? And how can we use alliteration here? Because as long as there's some alliteration, you're winning. So I came up with Soiree in the Sky because it's MGM Skylofts. And then Amy Weiss actually came up with Mimosas with Mentors for Saturday.
Awesome.
That is
great.
very, very cool.
And I'm just a little bit sort of, because myself and Alan, we both play golf and we're avid golfers. So we would have definitely taken the money off of Brandon Young. Because he's put a thing up there, anyone who can beat Brandon Young at golf, $50. So I'm sure me and Alan would have had a big crack at that.
Next year, I would like
next
to
year
to do that.
Tickets $250 each, Melissa.
For you
to watch.
No, prize money is only 50. I feel like that's a bit steep.
No worries. Look forward to that. Yeah, that'll be fun. Yeah.
Well, okay, Melissa, this has been awesome. So before we let you go, do you have any tips for people who want to attend these events? And, what are some ways that they can maximize their time at events? And of course, it's great to be networking and partying, but you also want to be learning and, you want to be able to grow your business as well. So what tips do you have for people who are going to these events?
Yeah, so I think, it's very often the case that we go to these and we're listening to stuff and it's so powerful that we think first thought that is not always accurate, that we will remember it because it's so poignant, because it's so memorable and it's like it's blowing your mind right then. So we think that's going to help us remember, but you're going to see another thing in 10 or something that's blow your mind. So it's very hard to keep all of that straight. So I definitely recommend, taking some notes. If there's a video package or anything like that, definitely take advantage of that because you're not going to remember all this stuff. And make sure that you have easy access to something that when you have a thought, like if someone is teaching something and you're thinking like, wow, that's amazing, I can apply that to my business, write down how. Before you listen to the next bit of what they're saying, write down like, check on this for, the XYZ part of my accounting, something, right? Make sure that you make that link for yourself, because if you just write down the note of what that person says and not the thought that sparked you to want to use that for your business, you might miss that later. The other thing is, this is actually something I had in a presentation at White Label Expo in Las Vegas last year. And it's something that Norm Farrar brought up in the live stream that we did earlier with Amy Weiss. One of the things that I think is really important for when you're connecting with somebody new is to take a selfie with them. And so Norm explained, he likes to take a selfie with them because it shows you who that person is and who they were to you that day, right? But the important thing here is to take it a few steps further. So beyond taking a selfie with them, I then text the selfie to their phone number. So now I also have their phone number. And then I say, hi, so-and-so. So I get their name. I may not have time to create a contact right then, but I can get their name and I can put it inside this text for later. And then I say, this is Melissa with the Empowery E-commerce Cooperative. It was so great to meet you at. This is also going to help me with my shouting that later. And I loved hearing about your blah. I can't wait to discuss in more detail. Feel free to reach out to me and then give them my email, give them my Calendly link. And then later when I have just a stream of text messages from an event, those are actual leads. I have their phone number. I have their email now probably. I might even have a meeting set up. And so there's some real leads. There's some real follow-up that can happen from that if you're doing it right. And that's one thing that I really want to impress upon people is don't lose out on these opportunities. If you go unprepared, it just kind of washes over you. And then you come back from the conference and you're like, I need a vacation. It's like, show for it, and it's just kind of been exhausting. But if you have viable steps you can take because you have a plan, that's a way you can really maximize that networking and that energy. You come back, and if you have done it right, and you're not just like, I don't even know what the next step is, but now you actually have, okay, contact each of these people. Let's get something set up. Let's move on from the part of that conversation that I recorded in that text so that we can carry on. Now you have the energy lingering of doing stuff and being with people and doing business and potentially forming partnerships.
That is
network
really
is
good
just
tip.
network is just so powerful. Myself and Margaret, we've been in businesses together, for many years, and one of the big things, we used to go away, not on holidays, but we used to go away on conferences, and we would network with different people within our industries, and we'd sort of come back and sort of follow up, and then those new people could open doors, but without going to those conferences, without networking, it's nothing. It doesn't mean anything. So yeah, fantastic. We're jealous because we can't go, to be honest.
I know. My heart is like breaking for you guys. I do feel like it's such a bummer for everyone who's like, oh, I wish I could go.
Yeah.
I know.
Can you see the tears rolling down my eyes?
You know what? I will do a ton of live streams and just show everyone what's going on at Prosper, and how people are doing at the the expo area, and some of the speakers and stuff like that. So I'll make sure that you guys are as connected as we can.
Fantastic. We'll look forward to that.
Kevin, Mark, we need to get a booth at Prosper next year or whenever we can.
For
India Sourcing Network. Because I had put up a booth for India Sourcing Trip at White Label in London, and it was absolutely amazing. I just love the experience, and you meet so many people, and it was just super.
Oh, that's awesome! Yeah. Oh my gosh, I was gonna be at the one in 2020, or no, I think it was meant to be in January 2021.
2019 December. I know, it's like
I was about to get there. It didn't work out. We'll see about it next time.
Yes.
Anyway, it's really been so awesome talking with you guys. I could stay here all day.
I know.
Yeah, we could too, Melissa. And I could just imagine that, like Vegas. I mean, Vegas is like, when I've been to Vegas, it's sort of like people get to Vegas and people go wild because they're in Vegas. And there's something about Vegas that people, all their inhibitions just go out the window.
Yeah.
So I can imagine that people. Like, go on.
I gotta tell you, it is pretty powerful networking when you go to Vegas.
Absolutely, yes, And I can imagine all the people that are going to go to Vegas now, because they've been locked up and sort of, stopped from doing things. I think you're going to have a few wild parties there, Melissa.
Oh yeah, they're already talking about like getting IV infusions from all the nonsense that's going to happen.
Oh, dear.
Cool. Okay, guys watching, definitely check out Empowery Women's Conference if you're in the US or if you can get there. Definitely, it's going to be a blast. So many awesome speakers, and you don't have a virtual version now, right? So it's only in person. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
As it turns out, there's some people who can't attend that maybe would have wanted to attend, but not enough interest in actually attending a digital portion of it to justify doing, like the streaming software and stuff like that. So in the end, we said, just give the people what they want. If they want to be live, then we'll do live only.
Absolutely. Cool. So check out this link, guys, on your screen, bit.ly/EMP-WOM, and get yourselves there if you can. Melissa, thank you so much for joining us today. It was so much fun, and we'll see you soon.
Thank you so much. You're amazing.
Thank you, Melissa.
Bye.
Bye.
Lovely to meet you. Lovely.
Okay, that was
She's
awesome.
a lovely girl, isn't she?
She is. She's absolutely very charming, very helpful, amazing.
Yeah.
So, Kevin, we're definitely going to Prosper or somewhere in the US next year, right?
Yeah, well, good. Yeah, I mean, Let's do it. Yeah.
Yeah, let's do it. It's good fun.
As soon as
Okay,
I mean,
yeah.
look, I mean, I think we're sort of, well, we should have our jabs by then. I mean, I know you've had your two.
Yeah, I've had
You
two.
have
think
yours
I-
tomorrow. Your last
I've
one's
got
tomorrow,
my
okay?
last one's tomorrow. And Margaret, when you have yours?
Next 3 weeks away or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, not
Yeah.
far away. Yeah.
Cool. So there are a couple of things that we wanted to talk about as well. And first of all, if you haven't already done so, check out our website, indiasourcing.net. We've been getting so many people checking the website and sending inquiries to suppliers and service providers there. So if you haven't watched the launch party, oh my God, were you under a rock? The launch party was an absolute blast. And where did Kevin go?
Bryson was banging. He's got to go outside right now. I'm not waiting any longer.
So yeah, check out the launch party. Check out all the posts that we've been doing in the group and also on our page, indiasourcing.net. That's the website. And Margaret, what else did you want to cover? There are a couple of important things.
One thing I think is pretty important for those of you who are still using Wise as your bank. I believe Amazon is last day for using them will be next week, the 15th of July. And they put out a new list yesterday of people who are, I suppose, pre-approved to come in the next few weeks, and there's like 20 on the list, and Wise aren't on it. So I think if you want to get any money out of Amazon, you better look at changing and doing something very quickly, because you don't want to be not being able to get paid, because they're stating in their like blurb that you just don't get paid if you have an account with anybody that's not a PSP
On their list,
been approved. So yeah.
Is the deadline July 15th? Did you say?
July 15th? Yeah.
15th,
I will.
okay.
I'll do some more on it. I'll put it in a bit of a blurb for Monday in the Monday musings as well, just to remind everyone. I'll sort of put a bit of the Amazon wording in it so they don't miss it, because it's something that's you've really got to do.
So what happens if you do have a PSP that's not Amazon approved?
Well, they say they're just going to stop the payment. You will no longer get paid.
Stop the payment altogether. So previously it was you'd have to wait 2 weeks for a payment,
No.
and
Well,
it's not
said
that anymore, right? It's just
well, I read it yesterday. I got a message from them yesterday, and it said if you don't change it by then, you will no longer get paid. And I went, oh, so they're just going to keep your money. So that's not something that's good. So yeah, but,
maybe, Mark, what you saw there yesterday, maybe you should just put it up on the Facebook page.
Yeah, we could probably put it in the page, actually. I'll
Yeah.
go back and get it and put it up in the page when we get off here, because I think it's pretty important, because if you haven't been home,
if you're sitting on the fence waiting, and I mean, you're going to
said
be
to me,
stopped.
I'll stay with Wise, it'll happen. But if it's not happened now, and if they're not even being looked at, they're months down the track, obviously. So yeah, and I mean, look, we have got Airwallex. If you haven't heard of our Airwallex in the last weekend when they were on, or the week before, if you go and have a look in our new Facebook page under payments, we have a link to them and all about them. And Meghla, you're very happy with them. And so
website, Margaret, not Facebook page.
Website.
Well,
yeah, sorry. That's right. Well, they're in both, actually, because there's blurbs in both.
Yeah, so I've been pretty happy with them. I've opened up an account, transferred some money, and I've even sent some money in INR to India, and that went through really quickly. It took just a day, and it was very, very competitively priced. So it cost me only $5 for the transaction from USD to INR to India, and whereas it used to cost me like $40 with my bank. So that's a significant saving. And I think the good thing about Airwallex is that you can make small payments as well, whereas some of the others, they have a minimum amount that needs to be transferred. So a lot of people ask us in the group, how do we pay for samples? That's the biggest question that we get. And you can always use PayPal, but then their fees, is pretty high. It's around 3.6% or something like that. But if you use Airwallex, then you can transfer in INR for samples. You don't have to transfer in USD. And then the charge is just $5. And of course, if you do make payments in USD to your suppliers, then their FX rates are also very, very competitive. And if you are if you're signing up using our code, you also get two benefits. One is you get the best rate possible. So we've actually negotiated this with them and we've asked them to extend the good rate to everybody outside of Australia. Currently their good rate is only available to people in Australia, but even there it's like complicated. But we've said that, hey, we're going to promote you to our entire group, but you need to give us a good rate. And so that's sort of the power of community, I would say, where we can actually negotiate good rates for the group as a whole. And so if you use this link, there are two advantages. One, you get the best rate possible, and secondly, you also get 20,000 Australian dollars worth of foreign exchange transfers for free. So that means they will not take their commission on $20,000 worth of foreign exchange. So that's another benefit. And quite a few people, I think, in our group have signed up. Tricia Watts has signed up. She, in fact, was the first to recommend them, and she was pretty happy with them initially. That's how we got introduced to them. And Margaret, you've signed up for an account as well.
Yeah,
How's your
I've signed up.
experience been?
Look, fantastic. I mean, we've saved quite a lot of money. When I actually bought my money over from my other PSP, I did an experiment. I just did a straight $20,000 bring over, and that cost me $125 US to US. Airwallex, there's no fee at all. And
Wow.
yeah,
Okay,
and then
no fee at all.
No
for
fee at
US
all.
to
Anything
Okay.
US to US is no fee.
Yeah.
So I found that was, that's $125. And then I've just looked at when I paid my supplier last time, and I paid $364 in fees. And I think with Airwallex, it's about $100 or something, if that. So I'm going to watch all my transactions as I go forward now and just compare them. So, and I have money deposited into my account, which every time, like if you put $200 into your account or $100, I've got a Wise account for small amounts, and they were charging me $7.50 every time somebody put $200 or $100 in my account. So, if you're getting some small deposits going in, it's just money that you're just throwing away. So I think, it's probably by far the best. And I've got my virtual cards and I've got my real card here. So, I mean, yeah, I just think their service. And I spent some time with Anna yesterday, who is like their onboarding customer service lady, and she is absolutely fantastic. And I'd been using it, but I said, maybe I'm doing this wrong. Should I be taking this from this account to this account or bringing it back to Australia? How should I do it? But so we just went over everything. So you get a call with her once you sign up. She will onboard you and help you, and you can go back to her as many times as if you want. And then you get an account manager, so they then push you onto like an account manager you have forever then, who will look after your account with any queries you got. So yeah, look, I think it's a no-brainer to me. I'm so glad I've actually bitten the bullet and changed. And you do have a hassle changing your account, guys, but go back and read my notes and follow them, because my account got closed when I changed my bank account with Amazon. But I got through it, and I've made some more notes for people. So I think you just need to follow the notes. Always ring Amazon. Don't just do it without speaking to Amazon's seller support when you do it.
Yeah,
That's
so
about
changing your bank account information in Amazon is tricky, so just be cautious about that.
Mm.
Okay, so yeah, I mean, definitely check out Airwallex. Highly recommended, especially for India. And they are also going to be hopefully starting their services in India soon. I mean, they do have an office in India, and soon they say that suppliers in India will also be able to open up Airwallex accounts. And that would be really good, I think, because then you can do Airwallex to Airwallex transfers, and I don't know how all that will work. And what I really liked about them is when Justin said that they want to be a bank. They're basically trying to be you're trying to replace your bank and be better. And that's the sort of feeling that I get when I use the platform, because there's so many different services that are offered, and the cards, virtual cards, those are amazing too, right? You can have unlimited number of virtual cards, and also physical cards. Where's your card, Mark? Do you have it?
My card is, yes,
Do you want to show
my card is here.
It came in a nice,
yeah, it came. This is where your credit card or your debit card sits. Debit card, yeah, and it just where it's over here, just sits in there, and I'm just going to leave it there so I won't ever lose it. And it's fantastic. So it's in this beautiful little wallet. Very nifty, and it doesn't look like a credit card. So people wouldn't really think that was your card in there. So I think it's great.
Yeah.
So I'm very happy with it. And it
Yeah,
took
and
about 5 days. I mean, I'm in Australia and they're in Australia. So, I mean, if you're in America, you probably wouldn't get it in 5 days, but I got mine in 5 days. So,
yeah.
and I'm not sure, you'd have to check with them which countries, not all the countries can get the debit card yet, I believe. There's a few. So when you're signing up, you need to just check, depending where you are in the world, because they're sort of adding things virtually every month, some new service, and in different countries it varies slightly.
Right. Also, before we go, I just want to remind everyone that we've got a couple of workshops coming up. So first of all, we've got the PPC workshop that's happening end of July. So check out the PPC workshop. It's going to be held over 2 days. And Mark, do you want to talk a little bit about the PPC workshop while I just post the link over here?
Yeah, look, well, I mean, everyone has done it and just love it. I mean, we have the Telegram group is still going from the last PPC workshop. It just never ends. And look, Ritu is fantastic from PPC Ninja. Her patience and knowledge is just so good. And I mean, she just helps everyone so much. And they actually, after you've done our workshop for the 2 days, she works through everything, but you can move into her, like I suppose you call it a mastermind, I think she calls it, that she continues on with for about 4 weeks, which is also free. So you not only can do our paid workshop and learn it, but you can spend the next month just tinkering with it further and going back for some more help. So it's not just here it is and off you go. There's so much help, and I think if anyone out there knows her stuff, it's Ritu, because I mean, PPC's still, she tells me that after you listen to her, you'll love it. I still don't love it. Nobody will ever make me love it.
Well, it's a necessary evil that you need to learn PPC and what it does and what it can do for you, and you know, to get the best results out of using PPC, you need to know the fundamentals, and you'll learn all the fundamentals and the right way, the wrong way, and what you need to do to, instead of throwing, you know, sort of money in the air and sort of getting no results, there's always a way, and you need to be shown a way. And Ritu is the lady.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, she is a PPC ninja for sure.
It's apt, a very apt name, I suppose.
Yeah.
A lady ninja. My God, the ladies are taking over today. empowered women, ninja women. Hey guys, watch out, move over.
So definitely check out the PPC workshop. And this is a 2-day workshop. It's live, it's engaging, it's interactive. You can ask any questions that you have about PPC. Ritu is very patient. She answers all questions. And each session is for about 3 hours, but we stay until we answer everybody's questions. So we've never, ever actually finished within 3 hours. We've always gone beyond 3 hours. So we're, under promising, over delivering. That's what we do. But yeah, I mean, as Kevin said, PPC is a necessary evil, and it really helps to understand the fundamentals and the basics of PPC. And then you can join Ritu's mastermind, which is free, 4-week mastermind, to build on that foundation. And even, I mean, some people don't like to do PPC themselves. They want to outsource it to somebody else. But then you need to have an understanding of the basics so that you know the person what they are doing, and if whatever they're doing is working, or, you know, why it's not working, or what they should be doing. You at least need to have some sort of understanding of the basics. So
and I think if you're about ready to launch a product, it's probably a good time to do it, because your honeymoon period at the start, your first sort of 3 or 4 weeks, is probably when you're going to be really going harder with your PPC and trying to get it running. So it's probably not, don't think, I'll do it down the track in 6 months, because at that point you've probably blown all your profit, because you'll have no idea what you're doing, and your money's just going to go. So if you join Ritu from the start, before you actually go live, I think you might get your campaign set up the right way to start with as well. So I think you don't need to be actually selling, you need to be about to go live. So if you've got a product heading into Amazon, now's the time to do it, so you can actually set your campaigns up for when you're actually going live.
And now we're moving into Q4. or getting closer to Q4. We're only Q3, but Q4 is only sort of down the track shortly.
3 months away.
Not even 3 months away.
Q4 is a great time to launch a product in sort of certain categories. Isn't that right, Mark?
Yeah, well, if people, hopefully by now, they'll need to have it on the water, so don't start.
Yeah, I know,
now.
but I'm saying
So,
if people are sort of, got stuff and they're sort of, just to push it along a little bit to make Q4, it's a great time to be in the action.
So, so hopefully everyone's just about got their stock well and truly ordered and heading towards the port shortly, so they can get in for Q4, because it's, if you haven't, you really need to be in sort of for October to get yourself set up. So, everyone, hopefully you're on the way.
Well, hopefully some of the clutter at the ports and all the containers and the ships and all the slow things that's been happening, and maybe, with Amazon in the warehouse and all those sort of situations, hopefully will change very, very, very soon for everybody and sort of get back to normal.
Yeah, and also with the shipping prices, I think they're just going to keep climbing up. Yeah, they're going to keep going up until Q4. So I don't think they're going to stabilize. So the sooner you get your product out of India, the better it is, because prices are definitely going up. I mean, in China, they're like up crazy.
China's crazy prices.
Yeah, the prices are really, really high now because everybody's trying to get their containers out. And China, somebody was telling me the other day, they're probably not going to stabilize until Chinese New Year next year, because right after Q4, there's a Chinese New Year rush. So it's going to continue increasing. But in India, they're saying that's probably going to stabilize after all of the Q4 shipments have left, so we'll see what happens. But they're definitely increasing.
I actually got a quote for a shipment 8 weeks after a previous shipment, and the actual shipping component, so not the whole bill because you've got to take out all the costs, but the actual shipping component had gone up 25% in 8 weeks. So that's quite considerable. So it's if you've got a $2,000 shipping bill, you've now got a $2,500 shipping bill. So, that's, I'm dreading because I've still got another one in about another 8 or 10 weeks. So I'm hoping that doesn't go up another 25, because it just, it's making it to, adding more and more and more, money to your costs all the time. But we've got to live with it. We've got to just, go with the flow. There's nothing you can do. It's not just you're not the and everyone's in the same boat. So everyone's either going to lose a lot of money or they're going to put their prices up. I'm going to put my prices up. I'm not going to just. You
got to roll with the punches, so to speak.
Yeah.
So. And Meghla, just before we go, and I mean, I know everyone knows we had the launch for IndiaSourcing.net, but we had quite a lot of people use the new forms and stuff over the weekend, and it seems to be sort of working really well. So
I think it is,
yeah. I mean, for if anyone, while we're on like today, I mean, there's a couple of questions in the Facebook page for just recently. There was for to get something certified, do an audit. Now you can actually get that go straight to IndiaSourcing.net website, and you can organise that service from the website. If anyone's, instead of getting waiting for a long-winded sort of question or an answer to something, you can get a direct by going. Come on, maybe you can speak better English than me at this one, Meghla.
I can probably explain it better because I've been working on it for the last 6 months.
But you know what I mean. It's what I mean, though. It just goes straight to the source.
Exactly. It's so much easier to find suppliers, first of all. I mean, previously we had all of these suppliers, but they were scattered everywhere. We had our VIS suppliers in a Google Drive, and then we had the videos in the Facebook group and in the Facebook page and on YouTube, and it was just all over the place. And it was so difficult to find a specific, supplier if you wanted to search for one. But now you can go to the website. All the VIS suppliers are listed there. You can do a search for the product that you're looking for. And of course, we don't have too many suppliers, and I don't anticipate us to have, like thousands of suppliers anytime soon. We are going to be very, very selective about the suppliers that we allow on the website, and we're going to vet each and every supplier to make sure that they are a manufacturer, they're an exporter, and it's only by invitation. We're not just accepting any supplier on the website. So you may not find the supplier that you're looking for, and we're totally fine with that. We also have sourcing agencies on the website in case you don't find a supplier. You can contact a sourcing agency, and for each supplier and service provider, there's a form on their page. So you can fill in the form, send in your request directly to the supplier service provider, and then they will contact you via your email. They'll respond to you within 24 hours via your email. So it's a very efficient way of contacting suppliers. And of course, you have all types of service providers that you need, right from packaging to freight, to quality control, to freight, to photography, videography. What else do we have? Even a lawyer if you want to get
listings,
listing optimization, lawyer, payment service provider. We've added that too. So all of these service providers are recommended companies that we have been working with ourselves, that people in our community have been working with. And we've sort of tied up with them, and we are recommending them as our preferred service providers on the website. So yeah, definitely check out the website. We've also got a workshop coming up for India sourcing, and we'll talk a little bit about that when we're closer to the workshop. It's going to be held end of August, so it's India sourcing workshop coming up as well. And we've also got a mastermind coming up. We're going to be talking about that later. There's so much happening. Yes, we're going to be super busy.
Yeah, but I mean, it's great. We just want to bring sort of the whole to make sourcing from India easier for everybody, to sort of streamline the process. And if we're successful at doing this, so are the factories in India, and the people that we've now grown to know them, like family type of thing. Some of the because we're dealing with them every week. We're talking to them, all the time, and it's great to see that they're going to prosper. From what we've sort of brought to the table, and it's sort of a win-win for everybody concerned. So, I mean, we've got another Viz on Friday, I believe. Meghla.
Yeah, we've got a Viz on Friday, and we're going to continue Viz, but they're going to be shorter, and we're going to do them more frequently. So watch out for Viz. It's going to be more interesting now, I think.
Yeah. But we got one new supplier we're bringing Friday, haven't we?
Yeah. Yes. Really good supplier, wooden products.
Yeah, excellent.
Very nice designs, and very flexible as well. So
yeah.
Look for that. Okay, I think we are done for today. That's all we had to say. Anything else before we sign off, Mark, Kevin?
No, except we were going for 30 minutes, and it's now 65.
over an hour. What, 30 minutes with Melissa?
Yeah. No, she's fun, isn't she? Melissa's sort of. Can you imagine, she's in a room, she's sort of energy. She'd be full of energy, and I'm sure, sort of in Vegas or the Empowery or whatever events she goes to, I'm sure she'll enjoy them all. And I mean, I think she'd just be fun to be around, wouldn't she?
Exactly.
What time Friday? Laura's the same. What time Friday?
So
what time Friday?
Same 11 a.m. AEST or Melbourne time.
Yeah.
11 a.m.
11. Yeah.
Yep.
Cool.
All right.
Okay, so we'll see everybody. Yeah, we'll see everybody on Friday. All right. Bye.
Okay,
bye. See you Friday. Bye.